Hello and welcome back to my channel. I thought that I would take you around the house and kind of show you some of the different thrifted things I have found and how I use them when decorating for the holiday season. So I just thought I'd show you different areas around the house and just show you what I did, what I thrifted, and how it comes together. So first of all, this is downstairs. This is just an electric fireplace down here that we have. I have something just sitting right here. Anyway, so let me just switch the camera around. That might be better. That is better. So I found this peg rack, this huge peg rack at the thrift store. This is the second one I have found. So yes, this is doable. Yes, you can find them. You will have to just be patient. It's when you're not looking for something that it will show up. And then all of these Santa mugs, except for this top rack, this was something that Walmart had a few years ago. They are thrifted, yard sales, estate sales, you name it. I pick them up whenever I find them. Now, since I do have a good size collection, I really, unless they're under $5, I don't pick them up. But I definitely have my favorites in there, but they're just super fun. And sometimes I feel like I don't know where, sometimes I put them over here on the shelf, but then when I found this peg rack, I'm like, this might be the perfect place to put them. So just put them here above the mantle, added some greenery. So these stands, I share this when I share my thrifted hauls. I always pick up little stools, little stands. This red one was a recent thrift store find because you can just elevate different things, right? It just makes, you can put stuff up higher, then you can still put stuff underneath. You can use them all year round. So I love picking those up whenever I find them. And then over here, I'm still kind of working on this area, but I love vintage ornaments. So I put them, these are those $5, they were in the Target Bullseye's Playground. I thought they were there this year. I'm recording this in 2025, but I thought they were getting them back this year, but I haven't been there enough to see if they do have them. But so this little area here is not done yet, but a few thrifted finds you can see that I have started with over here. So here, I shared this in a recent thrift haul. These old trucks are super fun to put, Christmas trees in, and then you can put them under Christmas trees depending on the size. But here I just set this one, again, this is a room that I haven't fully completed, but I just set this one here in this basket on the coffee table, and it holds remotes and things. And then I love to pick up vintage brass. I love vintage brass. It's, again, something you can use all year round, but I got these sprigs at a church sale, and literally that's all you need to put in there. I could throw in some vintage ornaments in there and even some twinkle lights, but it's something that you could have out all year round and just change what's in it. And then it makes for easy decorating for different seasons. So this is kind of a gallery wall that I've been working on. I remove things, I find new things. I kind of like the way it is right now, but if I found something new, I would add to it. And then all I did for this season is I added this that I found at a thrift store, and then I added these bells and then these antlers that I found at a thrift store. Again, I could add a wreath around him if I wanted to. I probably won't, but it's just adding a few things here and there that make it seasonal and fun for the holidays, but yet you're not having to take down all of your stuff to make it all different for the holidays. So this little area here, so far I've added some tree pictures, and then everything here, well, the furniture too. This was a $15 yard sale find. Everything here is thrifted. I did add, I think, yes, we do have a little candle inside there. This I just picked up at a church sale. And then this little guy is an old Department 56. I just kind of stood him up next to the tree. I found these little things I think that was at a church sale. Found the lamp, I think it was at a thrift store. This I might have picked up like at a TJ Maxx. Shocking. But again, this is just an area that I haven't really finished yet, but some of the thrifted finds are here. It's kind of a dark and gloomy day, so it's kind of dark in this corner, but it's one of my favorite areas, and this is just our entry. And a couple years ago, we added this piece of wood, which is so funny. You would think that would not be a big deal, but that, and then I added some brass hooks, and it's just made me love this entry so much more. We are thinking about getting a new, I've said this for a couple years, but I think in the spring we will think about getting a new front door here. We added the sconces, which are just battery operated. And then I just added some thrifted finds. I love these tapestry stockings here. This is just an old little horn. Literally everything here is thrifted. This is a wicker shovel. This was actually, no, this was a Target. I think these were Target back in the day, and I actually added the cross thing. That was actually a video that I shared. But this stool, thrifted. I love changing the bases on little trees. So this is a thrifted piece, and this is just like a Target old little tree that I used there. And then it's cold, so I'm going to shut the front door. And then this is, these are old theater chairs that I pulled out of an old barn, and they were not, I could not use them as seats, but I loved the backs of them. So we salvaged the backs. And then for the winter, these are just embroidery hoops. And I usually have these hung here all year round, but I just change out to winter greens. And this year I just added the black bow here. So again, something simple. You can just change out part of it, and then you don't have to tear down everything to decorate for the holidays. And then as you come up our stairs, I don't think there's anything here that is not thrifted. Everything here is thrifted. From the, or when I say thrifted, it could be a yard sale, estate sale, a church sale. But actually that is a wood nutcracker from like Hobby Lobby that I stained. But everything else I found, thrifting or yard sailing. So this is an old umbrella stand that I have my candy cane. These are just wood canes that we taped off, and then we stain and then make them look like candy canes. I'd like to find a couple more. All the greenery except for this one, that is all from a thrift store or a church sale or a yard sale. I love finding vintage plaid blankets. So that's in there. That is actually from Walmart. So that bulb was a couple years from Walmart a couple years ago. And then this is just a stand that I found at the thrift store that you could put a glass cloche on it, but I just put this ornament on here. I am sorry, this one's from Walmart. This one I actually thrifted, and it was just a wood ball that we added just like almost like an ornament hanger, an eye hook to, so that I could hang it if I wanted to. So above the couch, I found this old, I don't even know what it is. It's like a peg rack. So this was years ago. So literally everything here is thrifted. All the stockings were thrifted. The greenery, this brass Merry Christmas sign I found at a thrift store. And then the basket here, the greenery, the stocking, and then the ornaments. Those were all thrifted. Over here, I just have these brass, they're 4 candles, I think, but I just use them as coasters. My Luminar candles. Again, another base that I thrifted. It's like a candle holder that I actually put a tree in. And then this, I shared with you guys, I put this actually behind here to make this a little bit more substantial on this thrifted picture holder. This is actually a brass piece to an old scale. I found this at one of my friends she set up a booth at a local little kind of like flea market thing. So I picked that up there. All of these bells were thrifted. I either took them off something else or I got a bag of them like this. So I just kind of threw them in there. Another Luminar candle and another base on a Christmas tree. I want to add some more stuff in here, but that's what I have so far. Thrifted stool. Again, I love finding vintage plaid blankets. You just fold them and stack them up. Then you can easily grab them if you need to use them, but they just look really cool too for the Christmas season. Inside here, I have a lot of thrifted wood balls. These are stems I found at the thrift store. I just stuffed them in the tree. I love brass old bells, so I picked them up and added them to the tree. Again, more stems. All the eucalyptus in the tree are from a thrift store. These gold stems from the thrift store. This little ornament was from a thrift store. That stool's from a thrift store. That I got at Target years ago. This brass picture stand is one of my favorite things with this Thrifted Santa old book. This is actually a family piece, but I just put some green stems in it. And then this, I actually did thrift. And then I've just got some little brass deer inside that I thrifted, another Luminar candle, and some thrifted greens. This lamp I actually got out of our last flip house. This bowl is unbelievable. I wanted to add some greenery into this. It's so pretty. It's so cool. So I thrifted that. This is just a sketch Gabrielle just did the other day in a thrifted frame. Just sketched that with a pen. She's very talented. I'll show you another. She did both of these for me too. These are thrifted frames, but she painted these for me. On top of the hutch, I found that rocking horse, if you remember. I shared that in a thrift haul. Everything inside this hutch. We do have twinkle lights in here, but they are on timers, so they're not gonna go on. Everything in here is thrifted. That, I about died when I saw that sitting on a thrifted, or in the thrift store, just on a shelf. I could not believe it. It's unbelievable. And I had some vintage ornaments in it, but I used them for something else, so I gotta refill those. But Gabrielle did that for me. Another ornament, just a thrifted little pitcher, thrifted bowls when we were out of town. Again, you find these all the time at thrift stores now. I love brass candlesticks, so I grabbed those. And then, yeah, I just have some vintage ornaments and things that you already have. These, I just set them up there. I just shared those in a thrift haul. They are one of my favorite things. They are made in, or they're from Germany. Speaking of Ralph Lauren Christmas, that is like, and these are the glass Christmas trees that I was talking about in my last haul. And again, you can see the twinkle lights here, but when they turn on, they're just so pretty. So again, all thrifted finds that just come together. And I think this is the last little area I'll show you in this video, but this is a thrifted easel that I got. And I shared this Santa picture. He's from Michael's, unbelievable, under 20 bucks. I shared that in a shorts video. All of this is thrifted. Again, brass, I love it. I just put in those tree picks. Another Luminar candle. I love ironstone. I put 3 little Christmas trees in it. And then that peg rack back there, that's always in there. The velvet trees, I just found at a church sale. And then again, just more. This is a family piece right here, but Luminar candle. But then everything else, that's a Luminar candle that I actually put wrapping paper around. I shared that in a short video as well that you can check out. But everything else is thrifted up in here. So you can easily decorate just like you want. Find all the things that you love. It doesn't have to be vintage finds. I use a lot of vintage finds in our home, but I find so many styles in the thrift stores. You just need to go and don't give up after your first time of not finding something, because they change things up and they bring new things in all the time.